The information provided in this podcast is for general knowledge and informational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional for diagnosis and treatment of any medical condition. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Unplugged Healthcast or Dr. Wall.
I've seen so many reels on, you have cluster headaches, you have sinus headaches, you have tension headaches, you have allergies related. No, you have headaches. Headaches are headaches, and pain is pain, and there's a cause.
Neck pain, backaches, headaches, fatigue, the list goes on, and you're likely on it. Tired of the broken system and big pharma? We offer logical solutions, teach you to think critically, and empower you to reclaim your health. Welcome to the Unplugged Healthcast with Dr. Kevin Wall.
Good morning. It is time to wake up. This is Dr. Wall, and this is the Unplugged Healthcast. We have been in a long stupor in America. We have pharmacologically been put to sleep, and I am here to wake you up. This is the Unplugged Healthcast, where we unplug you from the matrix of today's healthcare system so you can see clearly. Stop taking the blue pill. And no, I am not Keanu Reeves, but I am here to see if I can shed some clarity and help you be healthy for the oncoming years of your life. Often we have lost a lot of hope in America, and we just think we are destined to get old and get bad. And we think somehow health is completely relevant to age and genetics. And I can tell you that it's more time and trauma, and you can be healthier. That's our plan. That's our hope. And welcome back to the Healthcast. We're excited. We're picking up momentum. We're getting a lot of interest, a lot of followers, a lot of shares, a lot of people wanting to understand and see clearly today. I think people are getting pretty tired of the system, of just the foods and the medications that are making us sick. And we're here today to help shed some more light. And I'm glad you tuned in today. Today, our topic is headaches. It is the most complained health condition in America. It is the most common condition the average American person complains of. Going into the doctor, we know in general there's 45 million Americans complaining of headaches every year. That's 1 out of every 6 people are dealing with headaches. Ultimately, I don't know how you do it. Like for me, I just don't, and I have been able to help thousands of patients get rid of their headaches. You don't have to live this way. I don't even know how you live this way. I hear a lot of people talking, they just have the normal headaches. Well, there are really no normal headaches. 2 to 3 per year may be considered normal. More than that, it's abnormal. And I got sick last week with the vid, we're going to do a podcast in the future here on it's okay to get sick. It is actually a not sign you're unhealthy. In fact, unhealthy people often never get really sick because their immune system is so deficient. But ultimately, that's not the point of today's podcast. Today, we're talking about headaches. And when I got sick for a few days, man, did I get the headache. I got the fever headache, the corona headache, whatever you want to call it. And man, it lasted for almost a day. I don't take medications. I do nothing. Just let it ride. And I can tell you that's one of the best ways of letting your immune system get stronger. But it was a day of headaches. And I can tell you, I don't even know how you guys do it. I don't even understand how people live with headaches consistently. 68% of males experience tension headaches pretty consistently. 85% of women consider tension headaches. There is a lot of headaches. In fact, the average onset of the first tension headache in America is between 9 and 12 years old. Are people having tension? See, I am not buying in that tension creates headaches, although tension comes from stress, and like rain on a roof, does rain make your roof leak? You should know it doesn't. It has to have a crack. There has to be a hole. There has to be something broken down in your roof for tension to create headaches. Tension works on areas of problems, but either way, Migraine headaches, that's a very common thing. We know that 16 to 17% of our population in America complain of migraines. That's 157 million work hours every year are missed due to migraines. They put people down. There are tension headaches. There's cluster headaches. There's migraine headaches. There are hemicrania headaches, which are headaches just on one side. There are ice pack headaches, they call them, where you have an ice pick in your head. There are thunderclap headaches. There are a multitude of names for headaches. In fact, there's 12 other names I could bring up to you, and you may have been told you have a certain type of headaches, and I'm here to tell you that honestly, it doesn't matter what you call it. There is a reason for it. There's a problem underlying, and seeking the name and the label for your headaches doesn't help you. And it doesn't even help the doctor very often, because all that means is they have a different medication for the different name. But I can tell you, after 35 years of treating headaches, patients with headaches, I've got over a 95% success ratio on fixing people's headaches. And today I'm here to encourage you. You can get rid of them. You can get reduced of them. You can eliminate a lot of them. And as I said, 2 to 3 per year, I'll concede the point. But more than 3, I got to wonder, what is the problem? And there is one. In fact, today we're going to give you the top 5 reasons most people deal with headaches. And then hopefully I'm going to give you the top 5 ways to address those. Is that okay? Let's do it. The number one reason a lot of people have headaches is as simple as over-caffeinated. I know we're a big coffee world, and I like a caffeinated drink, just like the rest of you. But I can tell you that caffeine, it accumulates in your system. And if your liver is over-toxic and your body is trouble digesting, caffeine can easily cause headaches. Number 2 is just simple dehydration. The fact that ultimately you just aren't drinking enough water, and a lot of Americans don't. Number 3 is food. Improper, bad, unhealthy, whether it's liquid food or just fast food or just unhealthy food that's really not helpful, or your body's not getting food, which is number 2. Is even maybe you have good food or not so bad food, but ultimately your body is struggling digesting your food. So you get gas or indigestion or heartburn or IBS or just in general tummy aches or just feeling bloated. Ultimately, your digestive system, if it can't break down the proper nutrients and or it's keeping food and it becomes toxic like leaky gut syndrome, then that is a very common cause of headaches, because when your brain and your body's not getting nutrients, it will cry out to you. See, pain is not your problem. A headache indicates something is not healthy or normal in your head region. The number one cause of headaches, and I've seen thousands of these, is structurally abnormal problems in your neck region. And that can come from traumas, improper posture. It could come from injuries. It can come from car accidents, falls. It could come from sitting at a computer for hours and hours, sleeping on your stomach with your neck twisted. There's lots of reasons people have problems in their neck. And the problem is the nerves in your neck. A lot of those go directly into your head. And when your neck is not healthy and or positioned correctly, it definitely creates tension where your muscles will be guarding, spasming, the nerves won't be firing, or it can even change the flow of cerebral spinal fluid that goes through your neck, up and around your head and back down. When you mess with your neck or your neck is injured or abnormal, I can tell you, you're going to get headaches. And the names can be all over the place. The reason you would have a different form of headaches, there could be genetic reasons, tendencies. There could be lifestyle modifications or issues. There definitely could be issues of your environment or your work or your job, or of course stress in your life and around your life can create more or less headaches. But the reason that rain is making your roof leak is that there's a crack, there's something wrong in your neck, and that leads you very susceptible to problems that refer discomfort into your head region. The upper nerves in your neck go to around your eyes and your sinus. The middle nerves in your neck go to your ears and your jaw area. And the lower nerves in your neck control the blood flow to your head, as well as they control spasms that occur suboccipitally. So depending on where your neck is a problem and whether it's right or left or both sides can create all types of headaches. So I can encourage you, please stop living with the label. Stop looking for a name and start looking for a structural imbalance. And today we're going to have callers that are unscripted. I don't even know exactly what they're going to be talking about, but I do think they all have headaches. And we're going to look at this and we're going to evaluate them. And I'll bet if we just dig deep enough, like you will, you'll find there was probably something that happened, some injury, some problem, some sports, some gymnastics, soccer, jobs, car accidents that probably caused an injury to your upper back and your neck. It never got corrected, and slowly you started to turn little headaches into bigger headaches, into cluster headaches, and into migraine headaches. And if that's true, and I'm right, then you can get help and you can find hope. So the top 5 ways to get out of this problem: number 1, reduce your caffeine. Number 2, you need to drink between 64 to 96 ounces of water per day based on your size of your body. Number 3 is you need to eat better, right? Food, water, and sunlight. One of our themes of our podcast. If you just ate better, if you changed your diet, if you made better decisions, reduced your caffeine, reduced your alcohol, reduced the fast foods, increase the nutrient levels, and you may be shocked how your headaches get better. And number 4 is if you're having trouble digesting, then ultimately things that are simple of helping your digestive process, like exercise, chewing your food longer, taking digestive enzymes, looking for good probiotics. There are simple ways to help your digestive system work better. And number 5, or the most important way, is that if you have structural problems in your neck and your back, you need to look for a good physical medicine doctor, functional medicine, people that look at the physics of your neck, the structure, the biomechanics. Chiropractors do that. There are some functional physical medicine doctors. Our clinics do that. That's how we have fixed over 95% of people with headaches. We can make a major difference, if not resolve them. Physical therapy can help you. Naturopaths. Look for answers. They're out there. You don't have to live with it. And drugs are not it. They kill your digestive system and really hurt your liver and pancreas and your gut. So taking ibuprofen, even Advil every day, that is not okay. That is not good. You got to stop. From my heart to yours, I'm telling you, look for better answers. They're out there and we can help. Go to my website if you want more answers, solutions, or referrals. Okay, well, I hope that makes sense. I hope you learned something. We're going to get on the phone in a few minutes with some call-ins, some people dealing with problems, real issues, and we're going to figure it out. And let's see if my theory holds true. I'll see you back in a few moments.
Pain holding you back? AFC Physical Medicine and Chiropractic Centers of Phoenix have real solutions to get your life back. With 9 valley-wide locations, we offer integrated care including chiropractic, medical, and nutritional support. Our approach goes beyond prescriptions, combining therapies to help you thrive. Don't let pain define your story. Take the first step towards living life to its fullest. Call us now at 480-210-6103 or visit afcchiropractic.com to schedule your appointment.
All right, welcome back here. We have got our first call in today, and the concept of call in for you listening is that we're going to just, and this is unscripted, we have no idea basically what these patients are dealing with, and we are not their doctors, but we're going to try to just see if we can't back them up, and we're going to look at the problem, we're going to break it down, we're going to see if we can find where it came from, and if we can find the origin, then we can usually find some solutions that can get people out of this thing. So if you guys would us welcome in, we have Elizabeth out of Colorado Springs. Elizabeth, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining our show and for sharing some of your information so we can maybe learn. If you would, and I asked my favorite question, but if I could wave the magic wand, fix one problem for you for now, forever, for future, what would be the one thing that we'd want to help you with?
That one thing would be my migraines.
Okay, so migraines, and who has called them migraines? Is that somebody told you have migraines, or you've called them migraines?
I think I called them migraines. They usually last for 3 days, and so it doesn't feel like a normal headache.
Okay. Well, it definitely would seem like a migraine if you're getting them for more than a day or so. Now, for people listening in classic time periods, you always find headache, the origin of your problem, typically starts for a reason. Things don't randomly happen. God's not just, destroying you by just giving you things. Often life happens and we have things and we don't notice them. And even she used the word, if you didn't hear, I think you said, I was, what'd you say? I was dealing with them. I was surviving them. What was that word you used? Managing them.
Dealing with them.
You were managing them. Okay. Which is kind of strange, right? So I use this analogy that if you took your car in with the oil lights and he says, I'm going to manage the lights for you, you would probably go, this guy's a wacko, right? I got to get a different mechanic. If he can't turn the light off or get the light to shut off, then we got to find a new mechanic, right? So we typically shouldn't manage our health problems. We should get rid of them. But often that's kind of what we get stuck into because no one seems to be able to help us. I'm not throwing rocks and I don't want you to feel bad, but a lot of people get told this or they kind of get stuck. Managing your health isn't okay until you can't manage it. Well, the first time something goes on is usually the first time something begins. So let's go back to 12 or 13. Did you play sports? Did you have injuries? Did you have falls back when you were a kid? Let's go back beyond the age of 13.
Yes.
Take me to the one that sticks out in your head.
I'm thinking there was one time I threw out my back and I must have been probably 10.
Okay.
And then I've also played soccer with, a bunch of co-ed grown men and been body slammed a couple times and played volleyball and got a lot of serves to the face.
Yes. All right. So right here, I can about guarantee you, Elizabeth, this is the origin of your migraines. But everyone says migraines are vascular and you got to do this and it's genetic, whatever they come up with. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, they're wrong. That the origin of headaches, because head aching is just pain, right? It's just something's wrong. And we go back to when you were a young gal and, here you are, you have something happen, you hurt your back. And then from there, you continue to play. I bet you probably have played, did you say soccer for many years, right?
It wasn't many years. I wasn't good at it. I played volleyball for 4 years in high school.
But you started soccer as your first sport, sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at soccer, you can't use your arms and hands, so you're using your head. Unfortunately, it's not your head that we're worried about, it's your neck. That when you jack your head around, balls to the left or to the right or whatever, I have had so many young female soccer players that had headache issues, and I can tell you almost for sure this is going to be coming from your neck. And it's probably at the top of your neck, but either way, it could be at the bottom. All the nerves in your neck have some direct correlation to your head. The lower nerves in your neck control the blood flow to the base of your head and the meninges. The nerves in your upper part of your neck go to your sinus and your eyes and your jaw. But as we know, there are actually, nerve fibers in your brain. That's why they can do brain surgery. You don't have nerve fibers that actually feel things. So we know this isn't a brain hurting thing. This is something around your head hurting thing. And again, we then go to the most common thing, and more likely it's your neck. So right now, I don't want to simplify this, but it almost probably is this simple, that your migraines are just uncorrected headaches that you thought were blood sugar headaches. And I'm not saying that your blood sugar hasn't caused these to be more obvious or set them off, or you could get a little blood sugar issue, but I get blood sugar issues. I don't get headaches. And I know thousands of people get blood sugar issues and we don't get headaches. The reason you get headaches is because that's your problem and the blood sugar is just setting it off again. But back to when you were a young girl, I don't think you got headaches, right? There was a time in your life you didn't have headaches. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it seems to be before the age of 12 and before playing soccer. And so right now I'm just going to stop for a second. And do you have questions, Elizabeth? Or so far, have I said anything that maybe is not true and you want to change and contradict me? Because I'm fine with that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, now I wish you were sitting here with me because we could go and do a quick physical exam and I could almost for sure tell you where your problem is at. But let's just take a few more moments and dig in deeper. So we know that when you don't have migraines, you have this headache that comes kind of at the back of your head and wraps up and over. Is that true?
Yeah, it radiates from the back of my skull, kind of in a spiral, and lands at my temple.
Okay. And is this on one side more than the other?
Yes.
Right.
I can't seem to pinpoint what makes it one side or the other, but it does flip.
But okay, it does go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure there isn't one side more common than the other? I mean, if it's not, don't make it up.
I mean, it's probably like 60% more on my left side.
Okay. Well, the reason being is that when you deal with problems in your neck, you're really talking about nerve problems in your neck, and those nerves go to one side of your body. They typically don't cross the midpoint. So if you have a left neck issue, you'll have left headaches often. If you have a right neck issue, you'll have right headaches often. My bet is you have problems on both sides of your neck, and I'll bet even on a day-to-day basis, your neck is stiff and sore and aches a little bit. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you reach to the bottom part of your neck, probably on the left side, I'm betting you got a sore spot that at the base of your neck on the left bothers you. If you reach back there, or do you know if you can feel a spot in the lower left of your neck?
Yeah, my boyfriend hits it a lot.
Yep. And it's more left than right. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, isn't this kind of amazing how I'm doing this from 1,000 miles away? And I can about tell you where you're dealing with before you've ever told me any of this stuff, right? And so right now, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I don't believe in, let's say, I don't believe in chiropractic. Heard that one. Fine. It's not a religion. You don't have to believe. It's a science. And here's the science. Anatomy is anatomy. Pain is a problem. It's not something you just ignore and manage. You get rid of. And so unfortunately, someone should have fixed your lower neck when you were young. And now it's probably worked its way up that now you have a spot at the top of your neck, because migraines typically are going to come from the top. Sometimes they can come from the bottom. So am I right that on the top right of your neck, you have a spot that's bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you reach up there and just poke right behind the back of your skull there on the right-hand side, isn't that pretty sensitive?
Yes.
Yeah. There is the origin of your headaches. And like a pebble in the shoe, Elizabeth, how do you fix a pebble in the shoe?
You take it out.
Yeah, what about it? Could you take enough medication to not feel the pebble in your shoe? Could someone rub your foot? Could you buy new shoes, new pillows, new carpet? Could you just walk maybe in a wheelchair? Does this sound logical to you to do any of these things? No, it sounds stupid, right? But this is how we're treating our health. We're buying beds and pillows, and we're rubbing, and we're getting massages, and we're taking drugs, and we're thinking somehow that I even saw a video that I commented on where someone puts mud on their forehead for their headaches. Now, I'm not saying that wouldn't feel good, but there is a cause, and I can tell you that your cause is going to be in your neck. And until you fix your neck, then your headaches are never going away, because that's the pebble in your shoe. And when there's pressure and irritation to those nerves that are causing functional blood flow, cerebral spinal fluid, all the things that cause headaches, yes, they're going to be coming from somewhere in your neck. Have you ever been to somebody like a chiropractor or had x-rays of your neck from someone other than maybe a typical medical migraine doctor?
You know, I've gone to chiropractors, but I haven't asked them to look at my neck or to address the headache issue.
Okay. Well, there are good and bad in all professions, and I'm not saying every chiropractor is going to fix every headache, but I have had severe success fixing almost 99% of headaches. The only headaches I really can't solve very often are hormonal headaches, but you can, because they're from hormone problems. Either way, we're not going to go down that road. We're running out of time on this call, but can I answer any last questions for you at the moment? Because we haven't fixed your headaches, but I think we found the origin of them. What questions could I answer for you?
Yeah, I guess my question is, what do I need to look for in a practitioner so that I know I can trust them and they're actually going to solve the problem?
Well, let's first go by the type of treatments where you walk into a clinic and next thing you know, you're on your back or you're on your stomach and they're cracking your body. Chiropractic is not cracking spines. There's tons of videos out there that just make this fun and cool, I guess, which I used to be fearful. Everyone loves to hear the crack. That is not chiropractic, and or when our world is functional physical medicine, which means we're going to look at your body from a whole. We have a medical providers on staff that they're going to look at you. They're going to look at your blood work. They're going to look at your nutrition. They're going to look at your whole body, but we're going to also do a very thorough exam of your back, your neck, your hips, your head, your shoulders, everything, because your body is a part. Your spine is an organ, and you can't just isolate it one from a section from the other. Then we're probably going to shoot x-rays. And I've heard people, oh, you can't shoot X, don't shoot. This is ridiculous. You've got to look at the organ because there's lots of abnormalities within the spine that make it either unsafe or safe to treat you. And you need to know that. So if the chiropractor's not shooting x-rays or the physical medicine clinic's not shooting x-rays, then I would run from those facilities. And then from there, give the team time to evaluate. Too many people want in, they go into a chiropractor or a place like this, they just want cracked right away. Like somehow this is so simple that your dog could do it. It's not this simple. And if you want good treatment, then go to a good provider that takes time, does exams, does x-rays. But then at this point, when you're done at the exam and the x-rays, you should know they found the problem. And I can tell you, if they don't find this spot that I'm telling you at the bottom of your neck, then they probably haven't found the problem. And they need to have a plan to fix the problem, not just let's crack you for a while. There has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end of your treatment. And you have to give the provider time because you don't reverse. Because now, if Elizabeth, you mind me asking how old you are today?
I'm 27.
Okay, so we've got a head of steam that's going for like 15 years. You got that, right? That if I'm right, which I'm telling you I'm in, you're going to have to trust or believe me, it's up to you. But you've had problems in your neck for 15 years. Does it make logical sense? How long would it take in your head to fix something that's been there for 15 years?
Oh, I don't even want to know.
Well,
please don't tell me it's going to be another 15 years.
Well, at least you're thinking in a more logical way than everyone else is doing. They're thinking, let's go in and crack my neck or get a pill or get a treatment, get a massage, and I'm going to fix this problem. And they never get it fixed because they don't give themselves time and they don't give the doctor time. Someone who does an exam, someone who does x-rays, someone who takes the time to do an exam. I like them with the medical doctors. We, again, are physical medicine. I like clinics that have those on staff so they look at everything, look at your nutrition. To get you out of this thing, though, now because it's 15 years, you do have probably a variation of migraine. So we've got to back you out of a variation of things, and it will take us some time. So either way, if you will, go on my website, Dr. Wall at drkevinwall.com. We'll find resources for patients and people like Elizabeth, if you're listening. But ultimately, the answers are going to be you're going to need to dig a little deeper and think like a carpenter. Do you know what I mean, Elizabeth, when I say think like a carpenter versus a fireman?
Just from a more surgical and like engineering perspective.
Well, you just got to stop looking at the fire and find out where the fire is originating from and get to that spot and then rebuild your body with time. That's what a carpenter does. You think of California, as we talked about earlier in the show, that if you're going to rebuild those houses in the Palisades, it's going to take time and it's going to take carpenters, not firemen, right? We want to get our health back in America. We want to unplug from this matrix that I keep talking about. Then you and we and all of us have to think like carpenters. Time, repair, regenerate. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Elizabeth. I hope it helped. I hope people learned and helped again. We have another caller coming up right after you. So we're going to let you go. And again, if you want to follow more information, drkevinwall.com. We'll have some of this resource information, referral sources, places to go. And if you want to ask questions, you can go to that site as well and ask questions, and I'll respond or one of our team members will get back to you. All right. We'll be back in just a few moments.
If you're waking up with headaches, that's a key indicator that you either have a toxic liver that needs help detoxifying, or you have adrenal fatigue, which means that your ligaments are loose. And so when you're asleep at night and your muscles relax, there's no ligamentous support to hold your head in place. And so you wake up with a headache. So either look to your liver or your adrenals.
Well, that guy was right on track. Man, I mean, we talk about headaches a lot, and there is a cause. Liver, your adrenals, I get it. But he didn't really give us any answers. If you want answers, come to the Unplugged Healthcast. We'll tell you how to get rid of your headaches versus just find out where they're coming from.
When you have the headaches in the top here, that's related to the heat. Like earlier I told you, the heat rising up, and then you have the headaches on the tip. If you have the headaches in the forehead here, this is related to digestion. If you have headaches on the temple, that means you get a cold, like a flu, a cold. And if you have the headaches in the back, this is related to dampness, which is like people have arthritis, like damp, moist. It really depends.
You know, that's really a great tape because this gal's giving you some real ideas of where your headaches are coming from. Dampness, you know, from a variation of outside sources, sometimes your digestive system. That was probably the best thing she said. But I will tell you that often we feed into our headaches are coming from something outside, like, oh, the weather's getting bad, or it's allergy season, or it's flu season, or, oh man, you know, it's too bright, it's too dark, I'm telling you, your body has the ability to deal with those things if it's functioning correctly. And headaches are just a sign it's not functioning correctly. Not that you need to, you know, get some moisture in the air. I mean, I'm not saying getting moisture in the air is a bad deal, but it's not causing your headaches.
After an injury, it can feel like life's on hold, but at AFC, we're here to help you get back to what matters. With personalized injury plans and our expert staff, we don't just treat the pain, we guide you back to strength and confidence. Because getting back isn't just about healing, it's about thriving. Call us or visit our website to start your journey today.
All right, welcome back here, Unplugged Healthcast. Dr. Kevin Wall, your host, and today we are talking firemen, carpenters, and headaches. And we just had a great call with a young gal out of Colorado Springs dealing with what she called migraines, and I would just call them headaches that have progressed into what is probably called a migraine. And this is a classic scenario that your problems probably are starting early on. You don't treat them. You manage them, as she called it. You just put up with them. You take medications. You take drugs. You keep spraying over the black oil lights. You keep spraying over the red oil lights with your black spray paint, and you're wondering why your car continues to break down and sputter and stall out, and your headaches get worse and they turn into other problems. So either way, think like a carpenter. Here we go. We've got our second caller today. Her name is Paula. And Paula, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Well, thanks for your time today, Paula. And I'm not sure that we're dealing with headaches, but that has been our topic. But we're willing to talk about anything today with real people dealing with real problems. And hopefully we can give you a real solution or at least point you in the right direction. But if I could, Paula, fix one problem today and help you, what would that one thing be?
That would be relief from my everyday headaches.
Okay, so we are definitely having a headache day. That's great. This one here is what you would call an everyday headache. So goodness, I often ask patients, gosh, how many headaches are you having? And they'll go, well, I'm just having the normal headaches. And just so we all know that normal would be considered 2 or 3 a year. That if you're having more than 2 or 3 headaches a year, I'm so sorry, that's abnormal. That is not okay. That is just something someone has told you so you feel better, that they feel better, that their drugs aren't fixing you. But every day, goodness, Paula, we're having 365 headaches a year. That's what you just told me. Is that true?
That's true, and we're going on 2 years now.
Oh my gosh. Like I'm so sorry. Like my heart really just hurts when I hear that, because I do ever so often, like some people, get a headache. There's a reason. It doesn't happen often, but I get rid of it and I don't have them again for years maybe. To have them every day, I don't even know how you guys do this. Like, what have they told you and what are they doing? I assume you're on medications.
Yes, I am, and that is recent. So I have really taken things into my own hands. I started at the PCP's office, referred to ENT, until I eventually came to a dead end there, referred to neuro, and that's who got me on medication now. But I have done CTs, MRIs, audiology exams. I've had 2 ENT procedures.
Oh, goodness.
I've done all the ophthalmology tests to see if that was maybe contributing. I've done a sleep study. I've really done it all. I've done acupuncture. anything that somebody's going to throw at me, I have done it.
Wow. Well, again, this is so common that you hear this story like I do, and you think this is abnormal. And I'm telling you, this is becoming normal, that they're chasing the wrong rabbits down the wrong holes, meaning that your headache most likely is not in your head. So let's just back up for a second before I get too far ahead of myself. Let's go back to 2 years ago. Before 2 years ago, did you have occasional headaches?
It was very rare, but yes.
What would say rare? Once every?
Maybe twice a year I'd have a headache.
Okay, so it was more in the category what even I would call a normal headache. And then 2 years ago, what happened? Did something occur? Take me back prior to 2 years ago.
Right. So before May of May of 2023, I was just kind of doing the same thing. I work from home. I know I'm staring at screens all day, and sometimes that would contribute to headaches, but it wasn't often. And I remember the day because it was so out of the ordinary for me. It was May 8th. And I had dizziness, I had some blurred vision, I had some nausea, and it just never went away. I think for about a week I felt this way, just kind of feeling off.
Yeah.
And so that's when the headache started with all of those symptoms. And, it continued. Every day it was a headache. It was kind of dull on one side, and it would be on and off. And then it just seemed to get worse. It would wake me up in the middle of the night. And that's when I decided to see my primary care about it.
Gotcha. Okay, so nothing that you're aware of seems to have happened prior to that date. Like you didn't have a fall, you didn't have a box hit you in the head, you didn't have a car accident, you didn't have a life change, you didn't lose weight, change your diet. Nothing changed in your world that you're aware of.
No,
okay.
Nothing.
Well, let's then go a little further. Are there other health conditions possibly you're dealing with, like digestive problems or any medication for anything anywhere?
I don't take medication. I do take supplements for PCOS. I know that I have a hormone imbalance. I would think that's the only other condition that I am dealing with, essentially.
Okay. And have you ever had any surgeries, any organs removed, anything?
I had a bilateral salpingectomy. It was the end of 2023, so I was already dealing with the headaches by then.
Okay, so I thought you said it was 2 years ago. Okay, I'm so sorry. Yes, you had a surgery after the headache started. I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe just some more simple questions, which is, has anyone looked at your neck?
Yes.
Who did that?
To a chiropractor. There's always been kind of stiffness in my neck. So I started doing massage therapy and acupuncture for that.
Okay. And have you ever been in car accidents or falls or sports injuries or anything at all significant in your life that you can recall? Whether or not you thought you got hurt?
No, my first car accident was actually just last year. So.
Okay. All right. So the chiropractor, did he shoot an x-ray, and what did that look like?
There was some chronic, I'm trying to remember now, there was some chronic issues in the neck, nothing huge that stood out to him. He said it was really normal, especially with people kind of looking at their phones all day or having bad posture.
Okay. And did he work on you?
Yes.
And how many times did it help at all?
Help as in relieve my headaches?
Help, yeah, anything. And
anything. I mean, the stiffness in my neck was alleviated after some time of going consistently, but the headaches never changed.
Okay. And you went how many times, would you say? Over how many weeks?
In the beginning, I started, I believe, twice a week for about 6 weeks, and then tapered off from there.
All right. So maybe for 2 or 3 months you were under some care?
Yes.
And during that time period, it never reduced your headaches at all?
No.
Well, you definitely have, a harder variation of that. Sometimes it's real simple to find the source in this one. Yours seems to be a little more mysterious, but I will have a tendency to go back to the issues that you do have, because once you mess with your system, and I mean system, like systematic, something inside your chemistry is wrong. And even you said when you started 2 years ago that you felt like what did you say? It was kind of like you're feeling like you were sick, or you're nauseated, or you were having blood sugar issues. You said something that indicated that you were feeling like there was something systematic wrong.
Yeah, there was dizziness, some blurred vision, and nausea.
Right. So once we start involving all these different systems, when you got your stomach's nauseated, your eyes are weird, your ears equilibrium off, and now you're getting this chronic headache. And is the headache diffuse, like it's kind of everywhere versus one area?
It's always in certain areas. So,
but does it move?
No, it does not.
And what area is it always in then?
So on the right side, I'd say parietal down to occipital region, and my left ear and jaw area. It seems to be those two very specific areas.
Wow.
Every day. And it feels like pressure, although I've been to the ENT and I've had, everything checked out. The only telling thing for me that I'm kind of leading up with is the only thing that completely takes away the pain is if I'm on an oral steroid, and a strong one.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if there's inflammation, if that's what's causing this.
Well, if you had inflammation or infection is one that probably pops to head, and you've had CAT scans, right? And you've had ENTs looking at everything. That's what they were chasing. They were thinking those thoughts, and they weren't maybe wrong. And it's not a bad thing, by the way, you did some of these tests, because of course you can check off the box what's not wrong. You don't have a brain tumor. You don't have some long-term inside, mastoid or sinus type of infection. I doubt that, because that would have already been figured out. I got to say, I'm going back towards the chiropractor again, because now after you've told me that the headaches are in that location, there is exact nerve roots coming out of the right side of your neck, and the nerves only go to one side. That's why when you get headaches that go from left to right or about, then you can start getting vascular headaches, hormonal type of headaches. You can get things that are a little bit more relative to your chemistry, like I was maybe indicating. But I now that you're telling me it's the same location, the same spot, and it goes into your jaw and into your that's C5. That's C4. That is the middle of your neck and the nerve on the right. And if you go to your neck, do you notice it hurts more on the right than on the left also?
Yes.
This is your neck. I'm so sorry just to be a redundant, and people listening to this think I'm just going to be a record. But at this point, when nothing else has been figured out, you went to one chiropractor, and like doctors, you went to like 6 doctors, right? 6 medical doctors, it sounds like, somewhere in that category, but one chiro. We are not all the same. That fact that this guy did not fix you doesn't mean you can't be fixed. I would go and find somebody who specializes in headaches. I would vet them. I would make sure I'd go and get referrals, but I would go try a different form of a functional medicine, physical medicine, maybe a clinic like ours that we combine medical doctors with naturopaths, with massage, but we get to the root. There's something wrong in your neck. I still think that's the origin, because that would be the one thing everybody else would miss, and that would give you one-sided headaches. So it could be something relative to your hormones and your liver because your polycystic issues. But I still think if you're having things that are hormonal systematic, it's not going to be as specific as this is. This has got to be your neck. Do you mind me just checking? I wish I was there. I could put my hands on your neck to feel this. But if you go down your neck on the right-hand side, about 2 to 3 inches underneath your skull bone, is that about where it hurts?
No, not on the neck.
Where does it hurt on your neck?
Let me see. I'm trying to move around now to kind of gauge it. Yeah, if I'm turning to that side, that is where the sore. I I would say it's like a dull
Yeah,
pain.
yeah. Yeah, it's been there now for enough time where you're getting used to it. If it was really bad, it's just now turned into a dull roar or just a, and this is what people do. They have neck pains and the neck pain seems to go away. And then they had headaches, and the headaches get a little worse and then they get a little bit, you just learn to live with things and your body just shuts it down. But there are 7 pairs of nerves coming out of your neck from the lower to the upper. And based on where your injury is in your neck, and maybe there's a disc issue, so maybe we need an MRI of your neck. But ultimately, the problem's going to be in your neck. And so that's probably where I'm going to have to leave it with you today in hopes that somebody could take a better look at your neck. If you want better answers, if you want me to help in some fashion, and if you're listening in this and you have questions, please just go to our website, drkevinwall.com. Leave a message there, the unpluggedhealthcast.com. You can leave messages. You can find resources. You can find information that's there that you can help find more information about these types of headaches. But here's the one thing I will encourage you, and I'll leave Paula, you with one last thought, is there is an answer, and living with it is not it. So I would look to either, again, different chiropractors, because you've only been to one. There are different people that do different things, specialize in different ways. Someone needs to do a very good x-ray, and I probably, honestly, after what you've been through, I'd get an MRI of your neck just to make sure we're not missing anything. All right. Well, today we're going to move on here to our last caller for the day. And thanks so much, Paula, for joining us. And I hope we brought you some value today. All right. Well, we're going to bring another caller in here just a second. But as we use that was definitely a really good example of situational headaches that just seem to be very confusing. And because you've been to one person and you just write that off your list, I think if we could learn anything from this is that there's good and bad in every profession. It doesn't mean she went to a bad chiropractor, but just someone who didn't find the problem and wasn't maybe his technique, maybe his schooling, maybe his thought process philosophy, maybe his diagnostic skills or diagnostic tools weren't high enough to find that exact spot. But I will tell you, if you find the right spot, like a pebble in the shoe, like we talked to one of our callers earlier, there's a reason your foot's hurting, and taking drugs is not going to fix the pebble in your shoe. All right. Well, we're going to go to our last caller here today. Who am I speaking with here?
This is Laura.
Laura. Well, thank you for joining us today. And Laura, where are you from, Laura?
California, Newport Beach.
Newport Beach. Goodness. I hope things are calmed down over there. I don't think that was maybe the location of some of the crazy fire. We were talking about firemen and carpenters today in the show, and the fact that often it'd be strange to, after the fire's out, that we'd call the firemen back to fix our house, right? That doesn't make any sense to you, does it, Laura?
Well, I guess it's better than nothing.
Yeah, you would be there at least add some compassion. But we need today in society and healthcare carpenters, people who understand to think past the symptoms, past the fires, and help us look into what functionally is really wrong. So we're going to try today, if we could help you today, what would be the number one thing we could help you with?
I have headaches, and I've had headaches ever since I came to Arizona.
Goodness.
Migraine was my first beginning of this whole thing. I ended up in the hospital, and I'm having headaches like 2 or 3 days a week now.
Wow. Are they all migraine level?
No.
So they could be all different variations of headaches.
Right. They're all in the front of my head.
Okay. Well, our listeners may be getting tired of these conversations because they all sound similar, and they do. When I have been doing this for 35 years for just hundreds of thousands of patients, these headache conversations sound similar, not to the person who have them, right? Your headaches seem very unique to you, don't they, Laura?
Probably.
Yeah, but it's okay, and we're not trying to be callous. Let's see if we can't dig it out a bit. So let's go back to the first day you ever noticed having any type of headache. Do you remember when that was?
It was probably about 30 years ago.
Goodness, I'm so sorry. That is a long time to have a lot of headaches.
Yes.
Do you remember something occurring to you physically prior to 30 years ago? And I mean, do you mind me asking your age so we have a general idea of reference?
I'll be 65 in a couple of days.
Okay, so 30 years ago, you're, by math, what, goodness.
35?
Yeah, I was going to go 25, but I knew there's something wrong with that number. 35. Prior to age 35, let's go back. Did you have children?
No, not that I
Okay.
know
Have
of.
you ever had accidents, falls, traumas to your body, whether or not you thought they were really severe? Did you have any?
Yes.
When were those?
Probably about 10 years prior. I got rear-ended.
Okay.
And So that type of,
And it sounds like it was a pretty good injury, a pretty good impact.
pretty good. Yep.
So damage to the vehicle.
Yes.
A lot of people go, well, there's only, $1,000 damage to the vehicle. I will tell you that in your body, ligaments will tear long before metal bends. So a lot of people get in low injuries or what we call low impact injuries, but they can lead to long-term injuries that people never get resolved. So, but this one was big enough that ultimately it sounds like there was a lot of damage to a vehicle or a couple vehicles. And I assume after that, you probably were stiff and sore and maybe even dealt with a few headaches after that.
Stiff and sore. I didn't have any headaches though.
Okay. And then from that point, did you ever have any other injuries after that? Any other car accidents, even if you didn't think they were that bad?
Not car accidents, but I did have a large horse, like a Budweiser horse, try to kill me.
Oh, goodness.
And what? And what? The ground.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay. And what, that was somewhere between the 10 years and the headache starting?
Right. It was actually like in the past 15, 20 years I got.
Okay, so you were having headaches prior to that then?
Right.
Okay, so we had a car accident. Then we started getting headaches 10 years later after that. Then somewhere 10 years after that, we got attacked by a horse. And now we're into lots of bad headaches and they've continued to get worse. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, again, as logical as this, one of the principles of our Healthcast here is that health is more simple than we think it is. Now, if you're listening to this and you're going, well, gosh, and if I had to predict this poor lady's life, and just those two scenarios alone, which isn't even taking in the factors of real life, right? Like stress, jobs, sitting at a desk, bent over things, tripping falls, sleeping wrong, eating wrong, all the things that we add on top of these traumas. We could probably predict someone having some pain, right? Some headaches. And the reality is this probably needed to be dealt with back after that car accident. Was there any treatment at all after that car accident?
I did go to a chiropractor.
And how many times and how long and what did they say?
I don't know how many times I went, but I went for several weeks. Okay. And then they released me saying I would be fine.
Yeah. And this right here is something I hope everyone listens to, that when you're in a car accident, the real problems typically are going to show up 6 months after the car accident. So you'll get your stiffness, you'll get your soreness, you'll get your muscles treated, your massages, and that's great. Surely don't not do that. But the problem is your body got jostled around, jacked around, changed, and now the real issues start to happen 6 months later, and then your body starts to notice that it's not working like it used to, and then time tell. So my point was, did you get any treatment? Did you do any follow-up care after that injury?
No.
This is something we all have got to know. We don't go to the dentist, get braces, and then just never go back, right? We don't go to the gym, get in shape, and never go back. We don't decide to lose weight and then go back to eating the Krispy Kremes every day. This is crazy, but we somehow think we don't have to maintain our bodies. And we don't maybe have to worry about it as much if we're not in injuries or accidents that change us. So the problem is, and I don't want to make you feel bad because you're just the normal person, the normal patient that kind of does this. And even at times I do things like this, but we've got to stop. If you're knowing you're a carpenter and you built a house, well, you maintain the roof, right? You maintain the siding, you paint it, you check the filters, you do things. So as a rule, people, maintain your injuries after you've done, see people after the problem, and don't just assume you're going to be fine the rest of your life. Anyway, so now we're 10 years later and now we're getting headaches. Did you go back to somebody like that, or who started helping you then?
No, I never did. Other than going to the hospital that one day.
Yeah.
When I got to Arizona, I have not seen anybody about it.
Okay, so not even, so definitely not a chiropractor, not a physical therapist, not a naturopath, but even medical doctors, I assume, to get prescriptions, things like that?
After they gave me, I was in the hospital, they gave me the Amitrex injections to give myself in the leg.
Yeah.
And I took those for about a year, but I used to work in a prison.
Yeah.
So if I took my injections, it would put me down for a couple of hours.
Wow.
I'd pass out. So I stopped taking them because of my job.
Yeah, this is such a tragedy. Okay, you go to the doctor or the ER, you're having horrible headaches, and all they're doing is just black spray paint. massive medications injecting in your body, live like this the rest of your life. Do you see the madness? The reason I'm doing this podcast, I got nothing to hawk. I'm not selling anything. I'm telling you, 35 years, this is just maddening that somebody at that day in her life didn't say, you have a physical problem causing your headaches. Let's get some x-rays. Let's go see a physical therapist. Let's go see a good chiropractor. Let's go get someone to look at why you have headaches, not just diagnose the name of your headaches. I've seen so many reels on, you have cluster headaches, you have sinus headaches, you have tension headaches, you have allergies related. No, you have headaches. Headaches are headaches and pain is pain and there's a cause. And until someone finds the cause instead of labeling you, I would have kept looking. Now, this poor gal unfortunately didn't. And so now we are here 25, 35 years after that with a lifetime of headaches. And now the real thought probably goes, I'm this way the rest of my life. Is that a thought you have?
I was kind of afraid of that.
Well, I'm not saying it's true, but it's a logical thought people go to. They lose hope. They think there's no answer and they stop looking and they just give up. And the problem is if you know what happens to a bad roof over time with your house, any idea what happens, Paula, to your roof over time if you don't treat it?
It all falls apart. It
gets worse. There's the problem. We just stop thinking. We think things will stay the same. They won't. You've got to get to root sources. You got to get answers. So Paula, I'm telling you, and man, now you put on the record again, you got to find a great functional physical medicine clinic that's going to look at you from a neurologic functional physical. The problem's probably still in your neck again because neck injuries cause headaches. Seen a million of them. 2.5 million patient visits I've either seen or overseen. And I'm telling you, I've almost never seen headaches that don't go away that are not coming from your neck. MRIs maybe of your neck, something like that. But don't just live this way because you still got gas in the tank, don't you, Paula? I mean, you said you're what'd you say, 60, did you say?
65.
Here's the deal. Go to our website. Leave me a message. drkevinwall.com, the unpluggedhealthcast.com. Anybody listening, anybody having struggles, wondering for answers, send me an email, drop a note at our website. I will try to help find you somebody where you can get answers. But the reality is there is an answer, and I'll bet it's in your neck. I'll leave one last question as we got to wrap up our show here is, do you have neck pain? I assume you do.
Periodically during the day, yes.
So, but every day you're having some neck pain?
Yes.
Okay. And so you, of course, know that's not normal either, right? Like no one's talked you into that's normal. You just you have to live with it, right? It's become common.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. And Paula, thanks, Laura, I'm so sorry. Thanks so much for your time today. And again, go to my website, leave me a message. I'll reach back out to you to try to give you some solutions or find you some answers. But there are answers out there. And here's the one thing as we wrap up our show today that you have to know is that common is you're having headaches. Normal is 2 to 3. Having normal headaches, people say, I have the normal headaches and they're every day or every week. No, those are not. There are no normal more than a couple times a year. And even then, I'm a little suspect. But I'll let you have a couple a year. But there's a cause, there's an answer, there's a solution. Here's the deal. Thanks for joining us today. If you, again, have questions, go to our website, drkevinwall.com, and leave some information. We'll reach back out to you. But if this brought value to you, would you please help me reach more people? Please subscribe. Leave a 5-star review, if you will, and go and tell somebody about, share our story, share the podcast with other people so other people can go and find answers. But I can tell you, if you can start to think like a carpenter, as I talked today in the show too many times, and stop trying to be fireman and stop asking the doctor to just be a fireman. If you got a fire, get it put out, but then go find the answer. Go find a doctor who thinks like a carpenter. All right. Well, this is Dr. Kevin Wall. Until next time, I'll see you on the next podcast on the Unplugged Healthcast. We'll see you there.